President Biden lays out new steps in the fight against COVID as the Omicron variant is found in the U.S. Plus, revelations emerge around the suspect in a Michigan school shooting.
Slow down, you're fine.
And in sports, Ohio men's basketball looks to rebound after dropping its second game of the season. Newswatch starts right now. Good evening. I'm Olivia Roman. Welcome to Newswatch, your source for news impacting southeastern Ohio. Ames-ville, Ohio will be getting nearly $1 million for high-speed internet access in the village. The Appalachian Regional Commission awarded a $750,000 grant to the Athens County Commissioners for the project, with the county providing more than $200,000 of American Recovery Plan Act funds as well. The project will add 9.8 miles of fiber optic network, ultimately connecting 124 households and 16 businesses in Ames-ville to high-speed internet. Chillicothe, Ohio may soon see a 59-megawatt solar farm. The proposed farm would become the third solar farm in Ohio run by Energex, which already runs sites in Brown and Highland counties. The two existing projects already generate a total of 200 megawatts and produce enough energy to power 39,000 Ohio homes per year. The new 500 acre proposal would produce energy equivalent to 11,500 Ohio homes. It's the third proposed solar farm in Ross County, with two others already operated by Minnesota-based National Grid Renewables. Athens nonprofit Health Recovery Service is set to receive more than $500,000 in state grant funds. The Athens Messenger reports it's one of just 6 projects across 3 counties to receive a portion of the $3.2 million in funding, made available by the Ohio Department of Mental Health and Addiction Services. The funds come from the state's supplemental COVID-19 block grant. Health Recovery Services provides both residential and outpatient capacities, focusing on trauma-informed care. Health Recovery Services provides both residential and outpatient capacities, focusing on trauma-informed care. Now, let's head over to Ashley for a look at weather.
Thank you, Olivia. Right now in Athens, we have a temperature of 53 degrees. It's partly cloudy skies out right now, and the sun's set at 5:06 p.m., so it's already dark, and our days will just be getting shorter as we head into December and we reach that equinox, where then our days will begin to get longer. Humidity is at 72%, and winds are blowing from the west at 6 miles an hour. As we take a look at the temperatures right now across the region, we can see a pretty big range. 49 in Newark, 49 in Lexington, 50 in Cambridge, and it warms up to our south. 53 in Athens, 55 in Marietta, 56 in Ripley, 57 in Ironton, with partly cloudy skies for the entire region. As we look at our weekend highlights, temperatures will be in the 50s for most of this weekend. We'll have some cloudy days and pretty chilly nights with some of the temperatures below freezing in the mid to upper 20s. We'll head on over back to Olivia with news.
Thank you, Ashley. The Ohio Republican Party is being sued by 5 of its own members. 5 Central Committee members says there's millions of dollars of missing money, and Chairman Bob Padowczyk won't explain what happened to it. The suit comes as the party considers whether it will eventually endorse candidates in May's contested primary for governor and the crowded race to replace U.S. Senator Rob Portman. One of the 5 suing the Ohio GOP, Mark Bainbridge, says the suit is not about politics, but about accountability.
It has nothing to do with the politics in the Republican Party. We are just trying to bring accountability and integrity to the Ohio Republican Party.
Bainbridge says the group wants an adult and the party to stop funding campaigns for DeWine and other candidates. Bainbridge also says the group wants Padowczyk to resign. Padowczyk says Bainbridge is making crazy accusations and that the 5 are working with the far-right dark money group. Former Ohio Congressman Jim Renacci, who's challenging fellow Republican Mike DeWine in Ohio's upcoming governor's race, now has a running mate. The far-right conservative candidate has selected Joe Knopp of the Dayton area. Knopp runs a production company which produced films such as pro-Trump film The Trump I Know and an anti-abortion move titled Unplanned. Renacci sees Knopp's status as a political outsider as a plus for the campaign.
Two of us are outside business people who understand that we can't keep going down the same road of career politicians who don't really know how to change anything.
Renacci says the campaign will continue around the state, planning to focus on reducing spending, cutting taxes, and fixing corruption. Small businesses in Ohio will now be able to remain open during a health emergency. Governor DeWine signed the bill into law earlier this week. GOP reps Shane Wilkin and John Cross backed the legislation, saying it's needed to address disparity early on in the pandemic, when large big box stores were permitted to keep operating while smaller businesses had to close. Under the new law, business can show they meet safety protocols in order to stay open during a potential shutdown. The Ohio Senate is looking at a bill to limit COVID-19 vaccine mandates in the state, coming as hospitalizations in the state are spiking, with about 1 in 6 patients testing positive for COVID, according to state health department data. But Senate President Matt Huffman says the anti-mandate bill could be the right vehicle to tackle vaccine policies in the state.
I think the sweet spot is how is it that we can draft this to make sure that people aren't being forced to quit their jobs and at the same time, the maximum amount of protection. I think this bill gets the closest to that of any that I've seen.
John Palmer of the Ohio Hospital Association says hospitalizations are expected to continue rising over the next few weeks as people continue to gather for the holiday season. An agreement is reached in West Virginia's Cabot-Huntington hospital strike. Healthcare and service workers accepted a deal from the hospital last night, ending a nearly month-long strike. WSAZ reports the hospital failed to give employees an annual 2% increase for employees, plus another 2% based on wage. The new agreement gives employees premium-free health care until 2023. After that, employees will pay bi-weekly premiums, ranging anywhere from $22 to $176. Although employees will be able to reduce that premium by 20 to 55% by taking annual health assessments. Coming up, a look at President Biden's plan to fight the COVID-19 Omicron variant. Plus, new information emerges around the suspect in the Michigan school shooting. These stories and more when Newswatch returns.
More than 100 million Americans suffer with chronic pain. Out of the blue, it can ruin lives and destroy relationships, but it doesn't have to be that way. The latest research shows that there's hope. With the revolutionary pain-brain connection, you can get your life back. Find out how to put advances in pain science to work for you. Join me, Deborah Roberts, for Pain Secrets, the science of everyday pain.
We wish you the merriest, the merriest you'll cheer. It's a young.
Join Dean Martin, Frank Sinatra, and their very musical families in a classic holiday celebration.
Deck the halls with boughs of holly. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. That will bring us back to do. It's the most wonderful time of the year.
Hi, this is Marion Ross. Please join me and Gavin MacLeod in A Classic Christmas.
Jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle bell rock.
Have yourself a merry little Christmas. Come on, it's lovely when the boys sleigh ride together with you.
International singing superstar Sarah Brightman, the world's biggest selling soprano, performs her hand-picked holiday favorites, all filmed at the historic Christchurch Spitalfields in London.
The Christmas you get, you deserve.
Watch Sarah Brightman, A Christmas Symphony, here on PBS.
Entering the U.S. southern border will likely be sent to Mexico starting Monday. The Biden administration is set to re-implement the Trump-era Remain in Mexico policy. The policy forces many non-Mexican migrants to remain in Mexico while they await immigration court dates. After the administration terminated the policy in 2020, a federal judge in Texas ruled doing so violated federal law. Officials say starting the program up again is only happening because of the court ruling, which the administration is appealing. President Joe Biden outlines new steps to fight the COVID-19 pandemic following a visit to the National Institutes of Health and as the U.S. heads into winter. This latest strategy comes as the first cases of the new Omicron variant have been recorded in the U.S. Chris Wynn has the story.
We entered this winter from a position of strength compared to where America was last winter.
In Washington, D.C., President Joe Biden unveiling his winter plan for fighting COVID-19. Air travelers entering the U.S. must now test negative for COVID within a day of departure, regardless of vaccination status or nationality. The Biden administration also extending a mask requirement for domestic travel on planes, trains, and public transit through the middle of March.
What you do when you travel, you take care, you're prudent. Travel always increases somewhat the risk of getting infected.
The announcement just one day after officials confirmed the first recorded case of the Omicron variant in the United States and California. The White House plans to increase vaccine and booster outreach with a focus on seniors and children.
We're going to launch hundreds of new family vaccination clinics across the country. These sites are going to offer vaccinations for the whole family, one stop.
Private insurers will now be required to reimburse the costs of at-home testing kits, and community sites like health centers and rural clinics will offer free at-home kits for those not covered by private insurance.
The bottom line, this winter, you'll be able to test for free in the comfort of your home and have some peace of mind.
In Washington, I'm Chris Wynn.
Right now, Ohio's vaccination rate is 53%, with 6.8 million Ohioans either being fully vaccinated or received one dose. That's just below the national average of 59%. Investigators are now revealing numerous concerns about the behavior of the Michigan high school shooting suspect leading up to the tragedy. His behavior prompted 2 different meetings, including one with the shooter's parents. Camila Burnell looks into what investigators have found, along with chilling evidence detailing his desire to murder students.
The day before the deadly Michigan high school shooting, 2 teachers separately reporting concerning behavior from the suspect.
On the day prior to the tragedy, a teacher in a classroom where he was a student saw and heard something that she felt was disturbing.
A call was made to his parents. Then another meeting.
The day of the shooting, a different teacher in a different classroom saw some behavior that they felt was concerning.
This time it was with school officials and his parents. But after he was allowed to return to class, he later went into a bathroom, came out, and began shooting, killing 4 students. The 15-year-old now faces charges of terrorism, murder, and other charges. His parents could also face charges stemming from ownership of the firearm.
The responsibility of a gun owner is to securely store that weapon and to keep it out of the hands of somebody who could kill people.
After the shooting, investigators also finding 2 videos on the gunman's cell phone and a journal in his backpack. In them, he talked about shooting and killing students.
Horrendously disturbing. Obviously talks about what he intends to do and the kinds of things he's thinking about. It's just chilling.
I'm Camila Burnell reporting.
A new discovery is changing the way astronomers look at comets. That story's still ahead.
We saw some beautiful weather in southeast Ohio today, but what will this weekend look like? Find out more in my full forecast, but for now, let's take a look at stocks of local interest.
Hi, I'm Rick Steves. Join me this holiday season for a colorful musical celebration of Christmas all across Europe. We'll explore festive markets, enjoy glorious local choirs, toast tasty holiday traditions with family and friends, and find some time to play in the snow. Along the way, we'll have some fun in the studio, sharing the latest tips about traveling smartly. It's my 2-hour holiday special, European Christmas.
If you're living with extra pounds you think you'll never lose, suffering with blood sugar imbalance, low energy, joint pain, brain fog, or a slow metabolism, there is an ancient nutritional practice that may be the solution you've been looking for. The keto diet is an effective transformational approach to meeting your body's nutritional needs, boosting your brain health, and tapping into its innate ability to burn fat as fuel.
We wish you the merriest, the merriest you'll cheer. It's a young.
Join Dean Martin, Frank Sinatra, and their very musical families in a classic holiday celebration.
Deck the halls with boughs of holly. La 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 la. Do re mi fa sol la ti do. That will bring us back to do.
Substantial, incisive, impartial. That's PBS NewsHour. For almost half a century, America's most trusted source for news and information. We'll explore how it all began, how it's endured through moments of joy and heartbreak, and why its integrity is still unmatched today. Join me, Danny Glover, for celebrating PBS NewsHour.
Welcome back. Right now we'll have the surface analysis from the weather that we saw today, and as you can see, we had a cold front move through our area, which brought the little band of rain chance that we saw. We definitely saw a little bit of sprinkles earlier today in Athens. Here is our hour by hour for tonight, 8 p.m. 49 degrees, winds will decrease, and our temperature will be 42 by midnight. Temps will remain above freezing as we go into those midnight hours, and the skies will clear as well as we go into the nighttime hours. In Athens tonight, we'll have a low of 36 degrees, so very cold but above freezing. We'll have clear skies as we head into the night. It'll be dry, no precip is expected. And winds will be blowing from the northeast, if at all though, because the winds will be dying down from the gusty winds that we saw earlier on today. And sunrise will be at 7:30 in the morning, so a bit later start to the bright part of our day, but yeah. Here is our regional lows for tonight. Everyone will be seeing temps in the 30s, 33 up in Cambridge, 34 in New Martinsville, and a bit warmer to our south, 37 in Jackson, 38 in Ironton, 39 in Ripley, with clear skies for most of the region except to our east with some partly cloudy skies. Here's the surface analysis for tomorrow. We have that high pressure system starting to move into our area, which is going to help keep those warm temperatures that we've been seeing. But we do have a chance for our northeastern area to see mixed precipitation, so rain / snow. But I really do think we'll, if we see any precip tomorrow, which is unlikely, it'll be rain. Here is the hour by hour for tomorrow, 8 a.m., 35 degrees, partly cloudy skies. It'll warm up to 46 by noon, so 11-degree warm up. It'll be a slight increase in cloud cover, not by much though, and we'll have those calm south winds. As we look at Athens tomorrow, high of 52 degrees, partly cloudy skies as I mentioned. Winds will be blowing from the south, but there isn't too much wind to expect tomorrow, if anything, 0 to maybe 2 miles an hour. And we do have that small chance of rain as I mentioned, but it's very, very minimal. It should be pretty much dry most of the day. Here are the regional highs for tomorrow, anywhere from the upper 40s to upper 50s with 59 in Ironton and sunny skies for most of the region. Here is our hour by hour for tomorrow evening, 50 by 4 p.m., cool to 40 by 8. No rain, no wind is expected, and temps will once again remain above freezing tomorrow night. Here is our 7-day forecast. 52 degrees for tomorrow as our high. And those 50s will remain throughout the weekend into beginning of next week, 50 Saturday, 59 Sunday, so a bit of a warm-up, 50 Monday, with the chance of rain, but it'll drop back down to 35 Tuesday, and we'll see those cold temperatures, 30, 40s throughout next week. Our lows will also be pretty chilly, 27 Saturday night and Monday night with 22. So definitely some chilly nights starting into next week. And that is all I have for you guys. We'll throw it on back to Olivia with news.
Thank you, Ashley. It's known that COVID-19 can lead to lung damage, and new data shows the virus is forcing more and more patients to get lung transplants. Mandy Gaither spoke with a doctor about the issue, who says most transplant patients have one thing in common.
So far in 2021, 1 in 10 lung transplants in the U.S. have gone to a patient with COVID-19 related lung damage. That's the latest data from the United Network for Organ Sharing. By contrast, about 1 in 50 lung transplants went to COVID-19 patients in the last 5 months of 2020.
Their lungs develop pneumonia and eventual scarring and may not be able to recover from that.
Dr. David Nunley is medical director of the lung transplant program at Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center. He's seeing firsthand the damage COVID-19 is doing to lungs.
Our center has performed 14 transplants under rescue conditions for patients critically ill with COVID. All of our rescue transplants for COVID have been in people who were unvaccinated. It's clear to us that vaccination is the key to not having to perform a rescue transplant for someone.
Nunley says whether the increased COVID-19 lung transplant trend continues depends on what happens in the pandemic, from future surges to more vaccinations.
Transplantation is certainly an option for those individuals, but it certainly is an option that we would rather not have to use.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Dr. Nunley says the need for organ donors is always critical, especially now as COVID-19 patients are added to the lung transplant waiting list. He reiterates the importance of COVID-19 vaccination. Astronomers tracking a giant comet say it is changing the way they view comets. A study from the University of Maryland on the comet Bernardinelli Bernstein was published this week. Astronomers say this comet is the largest they have ever discovered, about 1,000 times bigger than a typical comet, which on average is 6 miles in diameter. According to the study, the comet is active despite being at a near record distance from the sun. Comets need the sun to heat their surface. But they say BB is already spewing dust and vapors even though it is in the outer solar system. They believe this new information could help them figure out what the comet is made of.
Coming up in sports, Ohio women's basketball returns to action Saturday, looking to extend its win streak to 4. And right after the break, Ohio men's basketball tries to get back in the win column following a loss last night. That and more coming up next on Newswatch. Be sure to stay tuned to WOUB. Here's a look at what's coming up tonight on your public television station.
We wish you the merriest, the merriest you'll cheer. It's a young
Join Dean Martin, Frank Sinatra, and their very musical families in a classic holiday celebration.
the halls with boughs of holly. La 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 la. Do re mi fa sol la ti do. That will bring us back to do.
Celtic Woman. Postcards from Ireland. Enjoy the sights and sounds of Celtic Woman's latest album, with a collection of new songs and some of your favorite classic tracks too. Filmed across iconic lands and seascapes, a truly spectacular experience. Celtic Woman. Postcards from Ireland. See you soon.
Hi, I'm Rick Steves. Join me this holiday season for a colorful musical celebration of Christmas all across Europe. We'll explore festive markets, enjoy glorious local choirs, toast tasty holiday traditions with family and friends, and find some time to play in the snow. Along the way, we'll have some fun in the studio, sharing the latest tips about traveling smartly. It's my 2-hour holiday special, European Christmas.
International singing superstar Sarah Brightman, the world's biggest-selling soprano, performs her hand-picked holiday favorites, all filmed at the historic Christchurch Spitalfields in London.
The Christmas you get, you deserve.
Watch Sarah Brightman, A Christmas Symphony, here on PBS.
Good evening, I'm Juliana Colant. Ohio men's basketball now has 4 non-conference games before MAC play starts later this month. The team looks to tune things up after dropping their game to LSU last night. The Bobcats fell to the Tigers 51-66. LSU opened the game with a 14-point scoring streak and ended the first half leading 34-22. Ohio bounced back in the second half, tying the score 37-37 at one point, but couldn't pull ahead. The Bobcats' score record stands at 5-2. The men have a twin build scheduled along with the women's team this weekend at the Convo. The Bobcats face St. Francis Saturday with tip-off scheduled for 3:30 p.m. Ohio women's basketball hopes to continue its winning streak this weekend. Coming off of a big win Monday against Florida A&M 98-45, Ohio prepares to face Richmond Saturday. The Spiders' record is 4-4 and are coming off of a win against University of Maryland Eastern Shore yesterday, 69-59. Looking back on the Bobcats' 3-game winning streak, senior guard Cece Hooks says working hard and together as a team is an important part of their success.
Together, like going through the ups and downs, like fighting through the adversity. I mean, we started off 0-2. We came back grinding in practice and just keep pushing, just keep getting better, working on the little things that we need to get better in and just keep developing as a team.
Ohio kicks off a doubleheader at the Convo against Richmond Saturday with tip-off at 1 p.m. Ohio hockey is another team with a 3-game win streak. The Bobcats are back on home ice at Bird Arena tomorrow night, looking to continue their winning ways. Ohio plays its first game in nearly 2 weeks in a 2-game series against Niagara. The last series Bobcats played, they added another series sweep against Roosevelt. Ohio looks to do the same this weekend against Niagara. Puck drop tomorrow night is scheduled for 7 p.m. Baseball is in its first lockout in over 25 years. The 9th work stoppage in baseball history took effect at midnight. The sports collective bargaining agreement expired and owners immediately locked out players. This is a move that could affect spring training and opening day. Players and owners had successfully reached 4 consecutive agreements without a work stoppage. Commissioner Rob Manfred says the 2 sides couldn't reach an agreement.
We came to Texas to make a deal. We committed to the process, we made proposals, and it just did not happen. After the owners' meeting in Chicago, I made clear the rationale for an off-season lockout. It's the norm in professional sports, and we feel it's the best strategy to protect the 2022 season for the benefit of our fans.
I'm Juliana Colant, and that's it for sports. Back to you, Olivia.
Fans of the holiday movie Home Alone now have a shot at renting out this house from the movie for one night this month. Home Alone came out in 1990 and featured Macaulay Culkin as a young boy, left to protect his house from 2 buffoonish burglars. Airbnb says it will open booking for the Chicago area home on December 7th. The stay is scheduled on the 12th. Nabbing the overnight will likely be difficult, but the stay only costs $25. The offer coincides with the release of a new movie in the Home Alone series called Home Sweet Home Alone. And that does it for our broadcast this evening. Thanks for watching. I'm Olivia Roman. Be sure to stay tuned to WOUB for the PBS NewsHour coming up next. And remember, you can find the latest news at WOUB.
Support comes from Hocking Valley Bank, offering mortgage loans or refinancing on an existing home, making it easy for dreams to become a reality. Hocking Valley Bank, we know loans. Support comes from Goldsberry Wealth Strategies in Athens and Parkersburg, focusing on helping people achieve a life well lived with a custom strategy. Information at goldsberrywealth.com. Raymond James Financial Services Incorporated, member FINRA SIPC.
Good evening. I'm Judy Woodruff on the NewsHour tonight.
We're going to fight this variance with science and speed, not chaos and confusion.
The pandemic persists. The president lays out a plan to counteract the Omicron variant, including testing and travel restrictions, as the number of global infections rise. Then, high stakes. A potential government shutdown looms as Congress remains divided on funding and vaccine mandates. And the toll of gun violence. A deadly school shooting in Michigan highlights the ongoing issue of access to firearms in the United States.
It's extraordinarily difficult to know before the fact that something is going to take place so horrifically and extraordinarily.
All that and more on tonight's PBS NewsHour.